I grew up on Marlins. I didn't shoot many Winchesters. I shot a couple bucks with Winchesters, but I was always kind of a Marlin guy. And then when the Henrys came out, I was interested because of the tube magazine, you know, how you can load and unload through the tube. And I thought that was kind of neat because I could unload without running it through the action. And then they put the side gate on, and I watched as this company evolved, and then they started doing really smart things, really smart. Like uh they were improving upon a design that was, you know, around for 100 years. The transfer bar safety in their hammer is really interesting because they took basically the hammer from a revolver and they put it on a rifle, which is really smart because there's no half cock. So you know when that gun is unsafe, the hammer is resting and it looks like it's sitting right on the firing pin. And it's not. It's hollow. At that point, the transfer bar is lowered as the hammer goes down. If you're not pulling the trigger, the transfer bar slides down and the hammer is covering the firing pin. So for a tracker, if you're the type of tracker like I am, you know, you might have a round in the chamber, but you have it on safe. Um, it's covering the firing pin. So when you go through the spruce, all that snow and ice isn't landing on the firing pin like it will with other half cock uh, models. So there's little things like that, and then having the tube magazine that you can take out, and at the end of the day, dump your shells out without having to run it through the action in a cocked manner, right? So these little small improvements, and through the years that they've changed the ergonomics, they made them in walnut and steel, and it wasn't just because most of the people think the Henrys are brass only models. They're not. The hardened brass. So I started buying them, and then I had an experience, and I'll tell a quick story that really is one of the reasons, because this is going to come out after our deal is announced with Henry, our partnership. I had an experience where I had just bought a 30-30 Henry. It was my second Henry that I purchased. I was up at Scheeren Lake, opening day deer season rifle, and I got out of the car and my sling, I never put the sling swivel on, right? And it popped and my front sight landed on the macadam because I was parked on the side of the road and smashed, really dug up the front. I mean, because it was like a lever, it just smacked. And I had no sights. So I went back to the hotel and I said, geez, what are the odds if I call on I don't know if it was a Sunday or a Saturday back in those days, but I called and Anthony Imperato answered the phone. The president of the company answered the phone. And I said, is this Anthony Imperato? He said, yeah, it is. I said, you don't have customer. He's like, I just come into the office and sometimes I still like answering the phone. And he next dayed me at that hotel, a front sight, and I had it the next day and I was hunting. And I thought, I don't know of any company that would do that, you know? And since then I've sort of, that's the gun I like the most.
If you like that, make sure you check out bigwoodsbucks.com for more content.
And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter.